Hello YouTube, how are you today? I know I said it would only be a week till my next one, but life's just got in the way, so I apologize. Ready to do another video today, so let's just get started. I thought I would start with, first of all, my personal testimony to let y'all get to know me a little better, so here it goes. I walked an aisle, said a prayer when I was 9. No big deal about that, but then tried to do the right things, live the right way. But we went to a church of don'ts, and don't do this, you can't do that, whatever. And I decided by the age of 10 that I couldn't win the game, so I quit playing the game, and had my first drink at the age of 10. Got into drugs shortly after that. Nothing hard. I was of the mindset back then that if I didn't do needles, everything would work out all right. That I wouldn't get addicted or anything. Kind of a crazy thought, but that's the way I thought back then. But my idea of God at that time was he was this big dude standing there with a baseball bat while I was trying to walk a tightrope. And at the first stumbling, he would knock me off the rope with the bat. That's what I thought. So I lived that way for the next 20 years. Although I will say that, one of the things we used to do was sit around while we were getting stoned and make Christian songs out of rock and roll songs. So a little bit different. I think that was a way of God still pursuing me even then. And then at the age of 30, I got saved. This time, when I look back, my life was, using that same analogy of the tightrope. I was walking on the tightrope, but God's hands were under the tightrope, ready to catch me when I fell. So I really thought that. Still think that that's the way God is. He's ready to catch us when we fail, and put us back up on the tightrope of life so we can walk it. The other thing I'd kind of like to talk about is as a Christian, my walk. Started out just going to church, got involved with helping with the sound ministry and things like that. Then we left that church, went to a different church, got involved with youth, worked with youth forever. Still have a great respect and understanding for youth ministry. Teenagers are the ministers of today. They're not the ministers of tomorrow. They're the ministers of today. So I still like to hang around with youth and keep myself young. But then I got involved in riding motorcycles. Bought my first bike in 2008. It was a Honda VTX 1300. I had it for a few years up until 2015. Traded and bought a new Goldwing. Kept the Goldwing for a few years and decided I wanted a Harley. Every man needs a Harley at least once. So I bought the Harley, rode it for a few years. As I got older, my knees started going out. I was having trouble pushing it backwards. So I traded the Harley and bought another Goldwing because it's got reverse. And I will say that, to me, the Goldwing is probably the right bike. A lot of people ride different bikes, and that's okay. Whatever you want to ride. It's all great. But for me, I think it's the Goldwing. So I want to leave you with some inspiration today, because I never want to do one of these without at least bringing you a word. And A while back I was listening to a song on the radio that's a few years old now, but it hit me differently that time than it ever had. The title of the song is "Say I Won't" by Mercy Me. I'm going to read you some lyrics here in a minute, but before I do, I think we, as the church, and I'm using the word church generically here, not a specific denomination or a specific church, but we as a church have become victims. We consider ourselves weak and useless when we shouldn't. We complain about our health, our finances, and our situations instead of praying and believing God for our healing, whether that be physical sickness, financial sickness, or any other issues we have. So, without further ado, here's what I want to read of this song by Mercy Me, and again, it's called "Say I Won't." Today it all begins. I'm seeing my life for the very first time through a different lens. Yesterday I didn't understand. Driving 35 with a rocket inside, didn't know what I had. And that's the part that hit me. While I've been waiting to live, my life's been waiting on me. I'm going to run. No, I'm going to fly. I'm going to know what it means to live and not just be alive. The world's going to hear because I'm going to shout. And I'll be dancing when circumstances drown the music out. Say I won't. I'm just enough of a stubborn person to say those words. Say I won't. So, it kind of struck me. To go on, it says, "Not enough is what I've been told, but it must be a lie because the spirit inside says I'm so much more. So let them say what they want. Oh, I dare them to try. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. So keep on saying I won't, and I'll keep proving you wrong." That just kind of hit me, and I'll read you a few verses. These are in John chapter 10, verse 10 through 13. "Do you not believe that I am the Father, and the Father in me? The words that I speak to you, I do not speak on my own authority, but the Father who dwells in me does the works. Believe me that I am in the Father, and the Father in me, or else believe me for the sake of the works themselves." And then it's actually three verses that just hit me. And in my Bible, it's the section above it says the answered prayer. It says, "Most assuredly I say to you, he who believes in me, the works that I do, he will also do. And greater works than these he will do, because I go to my Father. And whatever you ask in my name, that I will do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If you ask anything in my name, I will do it." That's the way we need to live our lives. We need to have the kind of faith that these verses talk about. It says, "Greater works than these will he do." And he's talking about people who believe in him. And believing in Jesus it gives us power. It gives us strength. So, I don't know what else to say about that other than I've told people before in church settings, what these verses say to me is that if God speaks to you and tells you to go down to the local funeral home and tell somebody to get up out of the casket, we need to have enough faith to do that. Do I have that much faith? I don't know. I hope so, but I don't know. I'd love to be sure that I did. Let's read a few more verses. Philippians 4 verses 13 and 19. It says, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And my God shall supply all your need according to his riches and glory by Christ Jesus." Those are pretty blunt statements. And we need to get them in our heart and believe them. 1 Peter chapter 2, verses 21 through 24. For to this you were called, because Christ also suffered for us, leaving us an example that you should follow his steps, who committed no sin, nor was deceit found in his mouth, who, when he was reviled, did not revile in return. When he suffered, he did not threaten, but he committed himself to him who judges righteously, who himself bore our sins in his own body on the tree, that we, having died to sins, might live for righteousness, by whose stripes you were healed. Accept your healing from God. The last verse I'm going to read is taken out of context quite a bit, but I'm going to read it anyway. It's 3 John chapter 1, verse 2. It says, Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in health, even as your soul prospers. Now, prosper's got a lot of definitions, and I'm not one to believe that this verse is talking about prosperity the way the world defines prosperity. I consider myself a prosperous person. Now, if you look at my bank account, the world would say I'm not. But yeah, I'm doing what I think God has called me to do. I'm in decent health. I'm able to get around. He meets all my needs and the majority of my wants. I consider that pretty prosperous. And I think that's the way the Bible is talking about it. If you're in God's will, you're prosperous. So I want to read this song again because I want you to leave this video with this running through your mind, through your heart. So today it all begins. I'm seeing my life for the very first time through a different lens. Yesterday I didn't understand. Driving 35 with a rocket inside, didn't know what I had. While I've been waiting to live, my life's been waiting on me. I'm gonna run. No, I'm gonna fly. I'm gonna know what it means to live and not just be alive. The world's gonna hear, 'cause I'm gonna shout. And I'll be dancing when circumstances drown the music out. Say I won't. So my word to you today is, use this as your mantra. Say I won't. Because the world will say that you won't all the time, while God's saying you can and you will through his strength. That's it for today. God bless you. Talk to you later. Bye.